As a kid, and even now as an adult, I can definitely say that Star Wars was and always will be a huge part of my life. I remember the first time my mom put on the original Star Wars film, just so she could keep me quiet, but little did I know that after my first showing, I would get hooked. I even remember my dad taking me out of class early just to see The Phantom Menace the first day it came out. As a kid, I was entranced by these movies. They had a great mythology that anyone could get lost in. Now when it comes to Star Wars games, they all have one thing in common. Most of them are pretty damn good. The ones that most people are familiar with are the arcade versions, like the Trilogy Edition, and a lot of other ones like Rogue Squadron, the Battlefront series, and one of my personal favorites, Lego Star Wars. But a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, there was a great trilogy of games on the Super Nintendo called the Super Star Wars series, and the Force was strong with these games. Back in the day, these games were the closest you could get to not only be playing a great licensed game, but a great Star Wars game. Now as a whole, they were all fun to play. They all had excellent graphics and music, and great gameplay. But the one I'm going to be talking about is the last entry of the Super Star Wars series, Super Return of the Jedi. Now it's really a shame that most people don't give this game credit where it's due. That's probably because the first game in the series was so awesome that they couldn't see themselves choosing the others over the original. And that happens sometimes. Kinda like with Donkey Kong Country. Everyone would prefer the original over the others any day. And I would do the same. That's an awesome game. But when it comes to Star Wars, there's no doubt in my head that my favorite of the trilogy is Return of the Jedi. You wanna see why? Alright, let's go. Super Return of the Jedi, like its predecessors, is a side-scrolling action game with multiple concepts. For one, it has a lot more platforming than the other games, and you have a choice of more characters to choose from. Luke can use a lightsaber, and he can use force powers just to make boss battles a little bit easier. And just like last time, he still has the best attack in the whole game. When you do a double jump, Luke will use his lightsaber to do a spinning jump attack. Like before, both Han and Chewie can both use blasters and can carry grenades, though I don't really use the grenades that much. And they can both use thermal detonators that act just like the bombs in Contra 3. The only real difference between the two is that Chewie can take more damage than Han, or anyone else in the game for that matter, and he has a special move where he can punch everyone out on the screen tornado style. Now that's awesome. Leia can jump better than Luke can, and she can use a blaster later on in the game. But what's awesome about Leia is that when you get to the sail barge level, she can use her chain whip to shoot out sonic booms at enemies. This is one of the coolest attacks I've ever seen in a side-scroller. But the only one that sucks is that you can't use this move later on in the game. After the level's over, she can only use a blaster. And the last playable character is Wicket the Ewok, and he is a lot of fun to play as. He can shoot his arrows at enemies, and he can even shoot his arrows at the scenery and use them as a trampoline to get to higher areas that you couldn't reach before. Now the combat for the game is very simple. You can shoot your blaster in any direction you want, and you can collect blaster power-ups along the way to increase your rate of damage. But the only one who can't use a blaster is Luke, and I don't mind that. I choose a lightsaber over a blaster any day. After all, it is the weapon of a Jedi. Aside from that, the enemy variety is great, and thank God that none of them take like 25 shots to kill like in Super Empire Strikes Back. Platforming for this game is a lot different than the previous games, seeing how you have multiple paths that you can take. Some of them will take you to places where you can get lightsabers to increase your health, or to find blaster upgrades. The only problem that I really have with this game is sometimes the navigation can be a real pain. Like when I was in the Rancor pit, I kept going back to the beginning of the stage until I realized that you can shoot the spines of these carcasses to open up new passageways. Another time I got stumped when I was walking through the Imperial base on Endor, and I came to a stop in the road. I couldn't figure out where to go. I thought I had to stay on the ground to finish the level. It wasn't until I found out that you can climb on the AT-ATs, and from there, you can advance. How was I supposed to know to climb on top of them? I just thought they were part of the scenery. And along the way, you have R2 to checkpoint your status, and there's this icon you can get that will make you run at light speed, making it even easier to move past enemies without taking too much damage. And if you should die, The game has a password system with only 6 letters, making it even easier to continue. There's also a debug menu that you can use to give yourself 99 lives, choose different characters, give yourself blaster upgrades, as well as unlimited thermal detonators. This made the game so much more fun to play. It made it easier to skip the levels you couldn't pass just so you could see the rest of the game, while using any weapon upgrade you wanted and playing as any character you wanted. Now, one thing that I really want to mention is that this is a really beautiful game to look at and has an insane amount of detail everywhere. It's almost impossible not to get distracted by the background detail and just how much work went into making this game look as well as it played. Another thing I really liked about this game was that it used cutscenes to tell the story and move the game forward. And the cutscenes all look great. They closely resemble all the famous scenes from the movie. Sound-wise, the music is incredible and the sound effects are spot on. From the beginning of the game till the ending credits, this game sounds just like the movie. Now, the last thing I have to mention are the vehicle stages, and they really took the Super Nintendo's Mode 7 capabilities for all it's worth. My favorite vehicle stage in the game was driving the speeder through the deserts of Tatooine. It's really fun to play and the animation is great. I just wish that this could have been its own racing game. Yeah, it would have been like Mario Kart F-Zero meets Star Wars, and you'd be able to race through the various systems in the Star Wars universe. But now I'm getting off topic. The other vehicle stage I really liked was shooting down TIE fighters in the Millennium Falcon. I mean, look at this, it's like an early version of Rogue Squadron. There's also a shoot 'em up stage where you have to move your crosshairs and shoot down TIE fighters, which was okay but sort of unnecessary. There's also a speeder bike stage and a first person Death Star stage. The speeder bike stage is pretty awesome, but the Death Star stage is annoying and damn near impossible. You will seriously die at least more than 20 times before you finish this level. Just trust me, it's a pain. Now, to sum things up, I still think that this is a great game, and after all these years, it has aged incredibly well. It has great platforming, excellent graphics and sound, fair challenge, and awesome vehicle stages that set the stage for future Star Wars games. Overall, it was a satisfying ending to a great series of games based on a great film trilogy. Again, I had fun playing this game, and I hope you had fun watching. And until next time, thanks for watching, and please subscribe.